what would your 3 pieces of advice for female entrepreneurs, for women entrepreneurs be, young women interested in running their own businesses, starting their own businesses?
I think the first is to take a friend and a partner, because being a leader is a lonely journey, and having someone by your side who is fighting the same battles and experiencing the same hardships as you rise to the top is really important. I think the other is to make certain that it's sufficiently important that as you're facing that time in your life where you're going to have children, that you love it enough that you will put yourself through the turmoil of doing both, because we can do both, but it's difficult, and there'll be times that we feel like we're not good at anything, but you have to drive through that moment. And I think the third thing is to understand that you have to balance being strong and being tough with what's best in us, being creative and compassionate. And don't let anyone make you feel like you need to be one or the other, that you yourself need to follow your heart and your instinct and your strengths, and just do what you believe gets you to the place where you can lead others.
And did you have a partner in your career who was that, that person for you, that strength for you?
I had that partner for a fleeting moment when I first started the business. And he was very helpful at the beginning, but didn't want the craziness that was our existence in building this business. He was at the latter end of his career. And I've been alone since sort of the first year of this business. And I think that it's hard to bring anyone else in after you've built something that feels and understands the same way. And I think it has been a very lonely journey. But I think leadership is a lonely journey, because in the end, it's a journey of self-sacrifice. Everyone else and everything else comes first. And if you can't do that, then you can't really lead.
We were chatting a little bit earlier before the show began about your MBA and how you thought it was useful for entrepreneurs. I know that's a very controversial issue now.
I think university is a controversial issue. I've met with many kids who have taken the Thiel grant and dropped out of college after their freshman year.
So what value exactly did you extract from your MBA degree, and how can it help entrepreneurs?
Well, I think the biggest value I got was from my undergraduate degree at Yale, because it was a confluence of so much study in so many different fields. I think the important thing is that to truly lead something, you have to understand what I call the confluence of cash and creativity. You have to be able to dream a business, to really lay it out and see from beginning to end where you're going. And that doesn't mean the trajectory doesn't change on the path, but you also need to understand the financial framework of a business and build it from the cash up, right? You have to understand your pricing on every product, how that feeds together, how you're going to finance it, how you're going to make money. So you have to have the bandwidth of both cash and creativity. So you have to have a multifaceted learning. Now that doesn't mean you have to go to school to learn it, but too many times people send me ideas, they send me white papers, and they think they have a business. So I always explain, even to my own leaders who don't always get it, that a business is 4 things. It's people. You have to have the right people in the right positions, and that's your starting point. You have to have a plan, which is that short-term, mid-term, and long-term vision of closing your eyes and dreaming what that company will be. You have to have the processes, which is basically the pricing models, the financial statements, the mathematical and management information systems that drive the people towards the plan with a strong force and not disparate based on not having the processes to drive. And then you have to have a sense of urgency. You must be able to drive people in that direction with great speed and great urgency to reach that. I always say that's propensity, right? Growing a business, rebuilding a business is about vertical lift. So it's people times plan times process times pace or sense of urgency. And if you don't have all those aspects, you're going to fail somewhere. You're going to fall into the gap.